What is going on, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of Bases and Brews with Ben and Brandon. How is everybody doing? How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I just popped that beer, so I'm good.
I mean, that's always a good part of the day. Also,
Check.
it looks like my video's frozen.
Is your video frozen? Oh my god, dude. Is your video frozen on...
That's on me. No, that's
oh,
on
no,
my
that's on
side.
Discord. Yeah.
Give me 1 second here.
It's okay. If you can see, check this IPA I got today. See if I can get the camera to focus on it.
There we go.
Oh, focus.
Club Mango.
It's a mango
Got it.
IPA. I don't know.
That's a cool ass can.
The can just, I saw the can.
Oh, now it won't focus back on you.
It will. I've got to adjust something. Why is my camera being...
There it goes.
There it goes.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
it's like a fruity IPA.
That's what I'm assuming. I've never tried it before.
Okay.
So I got this. I got a 4-pack of this, and then I got a 4-pack of a cherry shortcake sour.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that, but it sounded interesting, so I figured to give it a shot.
I'm not the biggest fan of sour beers, but
Ooh.
I'm all about IPAs. So.
I love the color. Color
that's
on
a
this
good-
is fantastic.
I am
Smells
drinking
good.
an American ale. It's from Revolver Brewing Company. It's a Texas, obviously, because obviously, what else is it gonna be? But it's called Blood and Honey. It's like a honey flavored ale.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pretty good. It's got like some other spices in it too that make it. It almost tastes like a Christmas ale. It's not bad.
That's really good. So this is from Wild Fields Brew House. It's in Atascadero, California. So not immediately locally, but I got this at one of our local tap houses. I kind of dig it. It's got a little bit of a sweet taste to it, but it's not overpowering with the mango, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's that's good. I like beers that have a little fruit in them, but not when that's like the main flavor.
I usually
That makes
don't,
sense.
but this one's pretty good. This one's actually pretty good. I dig it.
But yeah.
So let's get into it. So, opening news for this week. We're 2 weeks from opening day. Well, not quite 2 weeks. What is it, like
No,
12 days? Is it exactly 2 weeks?
2 weeks from today is opening day.
Let's go. I thought we were like 12 days out, 10 days
I
out.
got an update on my phone through Bleacher Report that today is 2 weeks from opening day.
We start in
It's
2 weeks.
April 2nd.
Good
Also,
shit.
Not news because this has been. I mean, the schedule obviously came out a while ago, but did you know every team plays on opening day this year?
Do they really?
Usually they have that like the first day where like there's 3 or 4 games, and then everyone else plays the next day. This year they're having everyone play the opening day, and then like half the teams are off the next day, and then the other half are off the following day.
I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I actually like that.
You know what was even worse is when they had opening day in Japan, and the game was at like 3 in the morning, and it was like,
yeah.
what the fuck are you guys doing?
They've been doing a ton of, not just baseball, kind of sports in general, have been doing a lot of international games where two teams from here are playing over there, and I kind of like it.
I'm all for international games. It's just dumb as shit to do it on opening day.
Okay, fair.
Opening day is like, that's our thing. Like, what are you doing?
That's fair.
But yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm getting amped for this season. Although my Giants aren't looking so good. leading the leading spring training in errors. The pitching has been a little sus.
I watched an Indians game yesterday, and they had one of the guys we got in the Lindor deal. We got two shortstops who are both like just about to make the majors.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like one is probably going to be our opening day shortstop, but the other one, they're like, well, he's doing great, so we're going to try you out in center field. They put him in center field. He had 3 drop balls in the first game he played out there, and it's like, oh my god.
And that was with your guys' ace, your Cy Young winner from last year on the mound, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Apparently, after the game, he went up to him and was like, "Don't worry about it. You're learning a new position. Like shit happens."
I mean, it's spring training. The dude's not going to be on the major league roster. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Like I can appreciate that though. The pitcher just going like, don't even worry about it. You're good.
Shane, no joke, is like seems like one of the coolest guys ever. Like he's so chill. Like
I haven't seen any interviews with him yet.
If you've ever seen an interview with Corey Kluber,
yes, like, many.
They're very, very similar. Where he's just soft spoken, doesn't say a lot, just very chill. But,
oh, okay. I dig that. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I am, so I'm all about it. but yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was cool for opening day.
Yeah, that is actually pretty cool. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I think one of the cooler things is when you have all the teams play on an opening day for any sport, whatever it is. Like everybody should be on display.
Yeah. I totally agree. The opening day has always been annoying to me, so I'm glad they're kind of going with this style. But we'll see. Hopefully they stick with it.
So, in big news this week for baseball, LeBron James is now a official team owner. Well, partial kind of team owner. How do you feel about that?
It's fine. I mean, Patrick Mahomes did it with the Royals. I don't really have any issue with this. I mean, I'm not a big LeBron fan anymore, but like, it's fine. Well, he can do what he wants. He's got millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I wonder what prompted him to try and get in with the Red Sox specifically.
That's the part that has me most confused about this.
Because if he wanted to get into an owners group, I bet you he probably could have had more pull in other with other organizations. That's a very big marquee organization.
Part of it, I'm sure, is, you have to find an organization that's looking to add investors. So, like, I'm sure options are limited.
That's very true.
I don't know. It makes sense, I guess, but we'll see what happens with it.
I honestly don't think it's going to change anything.
No. Everyone's been saying that in Cleveland, and I'm sure every other small market is like, just bring in a couple more investors, and it's like, yeah, but that doesn't really add anything. Like to the team. Like, it's not like they're gonna spend more.
You've got a little bit more bankroll potentially, but the team itself, the management, the GM, they all have to make the moves. And if they're not willing to make the moves, having the extra money doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, I don't know. I'm sure it'll literally be nothing. It is weird that like he is a self-proclaimed Yankees fan and he's from Cleveland, and like when the Indians went to the World Series in 2016, like he was at every game, like going nuts. Like there's videos of him like chugging beers in the suites, and like
I didn't know. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, but I don't think I've ever seen those. I'm gonna have to look those up.
And in Game 7, when Rajay Davis hit the home run in the 8th, when he hit the home run in the 8th, like there's video of LeBron going fucking crazy. Like he's losing his shit. And so at the same time, the Cavs were playing. Like the NBA season had started.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it was a normal year, like the NBA season would be in, or no, not, I'm sorry, not started. Wait, yeah,
Well, yeah, that was after. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
It was the year the Cavs won the NBA championship. So like they were coming over to support, but they would like finish their games, and the way Cleveland's laid out is the Cavs arena and the Indian Stadium are literally right next door.
Okay,
So
okay.
like
So it's kind of like the
whole,
Warriors and the Oakland A's used to be.
yeah. But so like the whole Cavs team would come over after they finished their games and go up into a suite, and they'd have the whole Cavs team would be up in the suite like cheering the Indians on. It was super cool.
That's actually kind of rad. It's cool to see the support across the different sports.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess that, so going back to the LeBron being a part owner, like he is clearly a baseball fan. Like it's weird that he went Red Sox, but
I just
like he does love baseball.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, his small minority ownership in the Red Sox makes him the first African American partial owner in that ownership group, like ever in the history in that ownership group. Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, Boston, not exactly the most diverse of cities.
So that's kind of cool. He's always, I don't know why, but whatever LeBron James does is always something new, something someone's not really done before. Yeah. He's really good at finding those things.
As much as I don't like LeBron for personal Cleveland reasons, like the dude is, I mean,
come on, he brought you a championship.
He did, and then he left again. No, I mean, like he does a ton for the Cleveland community still. I mean, he opened like 3 schools in Cleveland, and he gives out like 100 scholarships a year to colleges and stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, how can you hate on that?
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. I like him for, but
okay,
basketball decisions, not so.
You're just salty. It's okay. The only reason you guys have a championship is because of Nut Kick Gate. You don't.
I mean, Draymond Green was a moron.
I'm just gonna say that.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but it is Draymond Green's fault because he's an idiot.
I'm not even. I'm a Warriors homer, but even I can't disagree with that. It was stupid. He got warned the game before. Just stop.
Yeah.
Okay, but to bring it back to baseball, one of the cool things that happened, I don't think it was this week. I actually think maybe it was this weekend. I think it was last week.
I think it was the day after we recorded.
Maybe.
So like Saturday.
But we had the longest official recorded at bat in MLB history. Kind of sucks it was in spring training where it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't actually count as the record.
Because the record's 21 in the regular season, right?
Yeah. So it is the longest at bat ever in the history of baseball, but it doesn't count on the record books.
Which I think sucks.
Did you see the video of it? Because like the players for the Mets were going insane.
Well, okay, I didn't watch the full at bat. I actually am gonna still go back and watch it, like the live broadcast of the full at bat. I watched John Boy Media's replay of it because he cuts up the in between time. I just wanted to see the at bat.
I love his videos.
He's fantastic. He breaks it down real funny. But it was a 22 pitch at bat, which is absolutely insane. Just to think about that, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's
did you see
a quarter of their pitches?
So it was Luis Guillorme.
I couldn't say his name, so I was hoping you were gonna try.
Against batting against Hicks pitching from St. Louis. And so Guillorme, I was looking it up because I was curious. I had never heard his name. Apparently he's like their utility guy. Utility infielder. Like he gets like 70, 80 at bats a season the last few years. And then Jordan Hicks was like a young promising prospect, and then he had Tommy Johns and he missed the last like 2 years.
Yeah, he was a big name a couple years ago.
Yeah. So this was literally his first pitching appearance in 2 years. and he had a 25 pitch limit.
Yeah, it was one
And
batter.
he only pitched to the one guy.
Yeah.
And had to go get pulled. I was
Well,
like,
I mean, you also got to think in like the grand scheme of things, even baseball during regular season, 22 pitches is literally about a quarter, if not more these days,
yeah,
than what a starting pitcher is even usually allotted.
yeah. They
Because you
usually
figure
go
anywhere 80
90
to
to
100,
100.
yeah.
Yeah, it depends
So,
on the team, obviously.
yeah, the team and the person, some people have more sway to be able to stay in a little bit longer, but
Right.
that's like a quarter of even during the regular season, a pitcher's outing. Like, that's insane.
Mhm.
It is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, to be clear, again, that wasn't one inning. That was one batter.
That's one at bat. That to me
yeah,
was
it was
mind blowing. But last week we talked about the shifts and how hitters needed to just get better. Honestly,
Yeah.
like
for all the other.
for lack of sugarcoating it, and then you see a 22 pitch at bat. That to me screams fighting, screams a decent hitter, or at least potential for a decent hitter, because he's able to, even when it's not his pitch, he can get himself another pitch. That's what a good hitter does.
Yeah.
Like, just throw there was like 3 of those foul balls he had that were literally him just throwing the bat head out there and just getting lucky that it went foul.
Yeah, it's really interesting to watch. Like, just from both sides, like, to throw 22 pitches and not throw 4 balls is impressive.
Yeah,
like,
you're not wrong. I mean, he did eventually walk him, so he did.
But I mean,
hit it eventually. But I mean, after 22 pitches, I probably would have just thrown over his head and been like, "Take your pass." Actually, I probably would have done that after 10.
18 strikes to 4 balls is, if you keep that ratio up for a game, that's incredible.
Yeah, right. Oh, that is insane.
But
no, I thought that was crazy when I watched it back. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. And then the last news thing we have is going to lead us into one of our topics, is that the Rangers announced they're going to do 100% capacity for the season, which seems dumb as hell. But yeah, apparently they're doing it.
So it sounds like a lot of teams are going to be having people at the games this year, which I'm a fan of. I don't know how I feel about full capacity, though.
So I linked you an article that has the list of every stadium and what they're.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
So most of the California teams are basically none.
Well, it's California. So being in California, though, and listening to a lot of local radio, there most likely will be in stands people at the baseball games this year. It sounds like it's going to be very limited, though. I think the last numbers I was hearing was like 20%.
So the Giants are the only one in California that, as of right now, can have fans.
Okay, maybe that's why, because that's where the radio station I listen to primarily focus on Bay Area.
So yeah, Giants right now are at 20%, which is about 8,000. But all the other teams, so the way California is, without going too much into COVID right now, is, maybe you can speak on this more, but like each county is labeled as like a color.
Yes,
like red, orange, whatever. So all of the counties where the other stadiums are in whatever the highest orange or
so
red. It's red.
San Diego, yeah, you're right. It is red, I believe, and I think no, is it? I can't remember what the tiers are, but California has been slowly declining on those charts, which is a good thing. It's promising for potential fans in the seats. Looks like San Diego's still undetermined. If they go back, it'll be about 25%, which is about 10,000 fans.
As of the writing of this article, which was like a week ago, I think. So both LA teams Oakland, and San Diego were all in the red, which means that um oh, this is actually updated.
No, yeah, I have one that I'm looking at that
Okay.
was from literally yesterday, and
Yeah, yeah. So they updated this because as of when I read this, there might be one above red and they all got dropped down, or they changed the stance on it. Because when I read this, those four teams were only allowed 100 fans in the stands,
I
which
mean,
means
what's
they're
the
not
point?
going to have
Yeah, what's
anybody,
the point at that point?
and none of them were allowed to do concessions and stuff.
But you have
But
different.
now,
Go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
now all those teams are at 20%, it says. So I
Yeah,
don't know if they made an allowance for them or if the whatever the color was
like
went
I said,
downgrade.
literally day by day, I feel like we're going slowly down, especially now that the vaccine's getting
Yeah.
more widely spread. I so to get back to our original kind of thing was should they really let full capacity? I think the
I
Rangers allowing full capacity is crazy. I think
I
that's
think
nuts.
maybe by end of year, once the vaccine's more widely spread.
But that would
But
basically be next season,
yeah,
because by the end of the year, I
oh,
mean,
I meant end of the season,
oh, end
but
of the season. Okay, I was going to say by the end of the
sorry,
year, you're looking at baseball being over at that point.
yeah, yeah, I meant yeah, end of the season because um, I, there's a third vaccine out now, and like I know people are getting vaccinated, so I don't know. Maybe if you can prove you you've been vaccinated or something, I don't know how they do it, but
I mean, you do get a card when you get your vaccination. I just
yeah,
actually
but
got my
I
second one
don't know
today.
if they can ask for that.
That's
Like I don't
true.
know
Like
if they're
legally,
allowed
if
to ask
that's
for
like
medical
some,
records. Yeah,
I mean,
so
I
I
would
don't know.
say maybe normally not, but with the given circumstances, that might be a caveat. Like you can
I mean,
come, but you have to be able to prove that you've been vaccinated.
right? Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but
Although, can you imagine checking cards like that
oh
for
my god, it would
10,000
be
people, even 8,000
yeah.
people? Oh, as much
But
as I want to get back to games, I'm okay with the smaller capacity because you can space people out in these
yeah,
stadiums, but full capacity I think is nuts. I think that's so
yeah,
stupid.
I just can't envision. I can't see it. Not at least not to start the year, but yeah, the consensus seemed to be like 20 to 30% for almost everybody, um, besides Texas.
Which I'm not exactly against. Like I'm
And
okay
it
with a small percentage.
yeah, and it's not even just Texas, it's just the Rangers. Like Houston is like 20 or something.
See, that's crazy.
25.
I mean, they must be really hurting for that money. I guess it
Yeah.
is the
I,
Rangers.
well, I mean, also the Rangers can be like, yeah, full capacity, and it's like 10,000 fans show up. So,
Well,
I
easy,
mean,
easy, easy. It's not the Marlins.
okay. The Marlins can be the best team in baseball and have 10,000 fans show up. The Rangers have great fans. They just are an awful team
uh,
right now. I mean, they were great 5, 10 years ago. The Rangers were really good when they had, I guess it was probably 10, when they had Hamilton and
that wasn't 10
uh,
years ago, was it?
Josh Hamilton and
Fuck, I'm getting old if that was 10 years ago. I don't feel like it
I
was that
can't
long
even
ago.
think of who else. I'll look it up, but um, yeah, I mean, back then they were the best team in the West most
Oh,
years.
yeah. When Hamilton did the home run competition and everything.
Yeah.
Those were fun times. So I've always low key been a uh, a Rangers fan, and I don't know why, but I've always kind of low key been a Rangers fan.
Um, I've never had anything against the Rangers. I just, I don't know. So yeah, Josh Hamilton last played for Texas in 2015, but he wasn't. The last year he was good was like 2012. So yeah, 9-10 seasons ago.
Wow. That honestly, there's not a lot of things that make me feel old, but that literally doesn't feel like longer than a couple. I know it wasn't just a couple years ago, but it feels like it was only a couple years ago that I was watching him in the home run derby and all that stuff. And
yeah,
but then again, you think a couple years ago, the Astros were cheating their way to a World Series. So
that's true.
I mean, I guess it is that long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious to see what happens with that situation specifically. But again, besides maybe opening day, I can't envision that the Rangers are going to be pulling a ton of fans anyway. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm also curious to see with the other teams if their numbers go up as the COVID numbers go down, or if they kind of stay the same for the year. It'll be.
Well, and I'm curious to see what the numbers look like in those specific areas.
You're talking about like if the COVID numbers go up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about like the numbers in the stadiums.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like
I imagine they will, as long as there's not like a direct correlation that can be made.
I mean,
with those
football,
and spreading the virus anymore.
A lot of NFL teams allowed fans, and there was no like big boom in the cities or anything.
Which might be a good thing. That could be why they're saying that there's a possibility for the 20% to start.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally would be very hesitant to go to a game, honestly.
I was just about to ask, are you planning on maybe going to a game or two? I know you don't live where your team now currently plays, but baseball is baseball if you're a fan.
I mean, yeah, for me to get to a stadium is 2.5 to 3 hours. So I would definitely go. I don't know if I've talked with you about this. I definitely haven't on the podcast, but like my bucket list is to go to every baseball stadium in the country
Literally, that's one of my bucket list things to do as well. I've been to a few.
I mean, we can talk about this on a different episode, which stadiums we've been to and which we like, but yeah, I mean, I've hit about 10 to 15 so far.
I've only hit about 5.
I mean, I got lucky because like I lived in Ohio, so there's a bunch in the Midwest, and then I lived in New York where I could like hit New York and Boston and Washington. Like all those are up in the corner there.
So. Yeah. We definitely should talk about that on another episode because the stadiums I've been to are cool, but there are definitely some reasons I want to go check out some of the ones I haven't been to yet.
Yeah.
That's what we'll have to do in the future. When everything gets settled, we'll have to do a IRL live stream where we both go to the same stadium and just fucking go ham.
Meet up somewhere.
I mean, you're in Texas now, which means you're a lot closer to me than you were before.
Yeah. I mean, still not close to Northern California, but yes. We could find somewhere in the middle.
Well, I'm like Central California. But still, okay, yes.
I guess. But yeah. I mean, even if I were to go to Arizona, that's like a 10-hour drive.
It's okay. It's like a 10-hour drive for me too. 12 hours.
All right. So Arizona is. We're meeting at the Diamondbacks Stadium.
Fun story about the Diamondbacks series. I'm going to just gloss over it real quick because I'll save it for when we actually go over the stadiums we've been to. But that stadium was awesome when it was first built. I was their inaugural year in 2004. Dope stadium. But I'll save the full story for that.
But yeah, we'll go over stadiums later.
This year they're gonna have a 162, a full actual season. How do you feel about that?
I mean, the the more baseball, the better.
So I'm with you to an extent. I think the more baseball, the better, but I think it's actually a really bad idea. And
Okay,
go ahead.
before you continue, are you a fan of 162 games normally with no COVID or
With no
anything?
COVID, yes, 100%. I think 162 is fine. I think the problem with going to a full season, I'll just say a full season this year is they only played, was it like 65 games last year?
60 even?
Was it just 60 even? Yeah. So you're almost tripling their workload. And yes, that's what they do on a normal day-to-day basis, but this is essentially a year and a half later. And now they're having to gear up for a full season, and it's not easy to keep yourself in shape and keep yourself keep the bumps and bruises off as much as you would normally, because your body gets used to every day doing something, and then you get shut down basically, and then you have to ramp it up for 60 games, but you still don't get your body like that full workout, I guess you would say. And then now you've got to basically just snap back into it, and you're into a full season again. I think a lot of people are going to get hurt this year that probably wouldn't had there been a normal full season this last year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. I will say uh that I don't know. Baseball is so weird because like it's not like football where you're gonna have contact injuries. It's probably 95, if not more, is like muscle injuries, tears, and sprains and stuff.
It's true.
So like if you can get in shape and stretch, I, like I don't know. It's so hard to
Just be limber, forehead.
right.
I
No,
think the
I
big impact.
definitely
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Finish.
I get what you're saying. I feel like injuries have been on the rise anyway. So like it's hard to if it does happen, it'll be hard to be like, yeah, it's because of this, but I don't know.
I think it's going to
They
be
have had a
particularly
full
hard on the
off.
pitchers.
Yeah.
Not so much maybe your everyday second baseman or your everyday left fielder, but I think the pitchers are really going to feel it this year. And I think your catchers are really going to feel it this year.
I mean, counter argument, just to play devil's advocate, is those guys had way less wear and tear on their bodies last year. So they had a lot more rest and time to recover from, minor injuries.
As a
Just to
Giants
play devil's
fan whose
advocate,
catcher sat out the short season, I'm hoping that's true. But as a realist who understands that the less you play baseball, the harder the game becomes.
yeah. Well, then
It's kind of like I could go either way and I could understand it. I'm worried that there's going to be a lot more people hurt this year. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. But that's kind of my concern.
Yeah, it depends on the player and how dedicated they are. Because like baseball is a sport that you can stay ready for by yourself. Like you can throw, you can, hit in a cage, you can do all that kind of stuff by yourself as opposed to, other sports where it's just you just can't do it. It's
I
not
mean,
possible.
that's a very, very, very fair point.
So it is kind of on the player if they're coming in out of shape and not ready. They had a full off season still, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if there is more, pitchers who get hurt, tear something or Tommy Johns or
That's what I'm worried about. And my team doesn't have very stellar pitching to begin with, and I'm hoping that they don't get burnt out, halfway through the season. That's kind of just my only real concern.
Yeah, I get it. I personally don't think that'll be the case, but I could also see where if it does happen, it wouldn't surprise me too much.
Do you think people are going to blame the fact that they had a short season rolling into a full season as the reason, or you think it's just going to be, you know, hey, it just happens?
I think it depends how big of a jump in injuries there is. Like if there's a big percentage jump, then maybe, especially if it's in pitchers. But I feel like if it's close, people will be like, it's just a normal year.
That's fair. That's fair. The sad part is we don't know. We won't be able to tell that until the end of the year. Because as far as I know, they don't do injury like surveillance. I guess you would like collecting all the data for how many injuries happened until after the season is fully over. Then then the MLB goes back and goes, okay, how many people got hurt? What can we do to remedy X, Y, and Z? If there is there something we can do to, you know, help that.
Yeah.
So you don't actually get the numbers until we won't get those until October or November.
Yeah, it would be very difficult. I was gonna say I could try to keep track, but there's I just don't have that kind of time.
If you have the time to track all the injuries in the
Anybody
MLB,
listening has the time, but just send us some stuff.
Yeah, just like every couple weeks, send us the updated stats for who's been hurt and who hasn't. You don't gotta give us names, just give us the numbers because we don't care if they're hurt. They're not playing. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm for 162 games, but I definitely understand your reasoning. But
I'm hopefully optimistic.
It's hard for me to ever say I want less baseball. So
yeah, no, I'm glad they're going to do a full season just from the baseball fan in me. I'm just worried that people are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Other than that, like if everyone can stay healthy and the numbers aren't different, good shit. Let's get a full season in because that short season last year just didn't. I don't know about you. It did not feel like a season.
It felt like a long World Baseball Classic.
Ooh, that's a good analogy. That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Speaking of which, just not related to anything. When's the next World Baseball Classic?
Baseball, it happens every 2 years, right? Or is it every 4? I think it's every 2. I'm not a huge World Baseball Classic fan, to be honest.
I don't like it in the sense that it usually delays the season and a lot of players don't participate. But it is fun to watch sometimes. I think there's one this year.
Actually, yeah, it started on March 9th.
Apparently nobody went. Oh, no. It was canceled in May 2020.
Oh, did it?
Unlikely to be played until 2023. So they're just going to skip this one. But you're right.
Yeah, it's every 2 years. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was every 2 years.
But anyway. So, yeah, I guess moving on.
So now to the meat of the episode, the over-unders. How stupid are we going to look at the end of the season?
Yeah.
Looking back at this.
We're writing this down to come back at the end of the year and see where we're at. We also we'll look at our predictions for each division from last week too.
Real quick, anybody who might be in here that's new that wasn't able to either watch last week, they aren't up yet, but Sunday afternoon by I would say 5 or 6. Both episode 1 and 2 will be up on our YouTube channel so that you can go ahead and check those guys out. Check out the first one if you didn't get a chance to.
Yeah. Good call.
It would be on our VODs here on Twitch, but I made a boo-boo and didn't check the record and save button. So I have the recording and I'm going to be uploading both of these together this weekend. So Sunday afternoon, the first episode will be there if you want to go back and see what our initial predictions for each division were for this next season. All right.
Good call on that. All right. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to go from the worst teams to the best teams. Now we're gonna write. So this is over under. For anybody who doesn't know how sports betting works for over under, they basically give you a record with a half game. So for example, the first one, the Pirates are 58.5. So you have to guess if they get more or less than 58.5 wins, just for anybody who doesn't know how over-unders work. So we're going to go through and we're each going to pick each team's over-under. And we'll see how we do by the end of the year.
Do you have the direct link to our YouTube? I don't have it saved.
I was just trying to find it, and no, I can get it really quick. I'll get it
tomorrow. All right, so this should be fun.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start from the predicted worst to predicted best.
Correct. So all right, so yeah, we're going to start with what is predicted to be the worst team in baseball, and by a significant margin, the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is 58.5.
That hurts.
Which means they would lose 101.5.
I'm gonna let you go first on this one. I'm trying to think.
Okay, I am actually going to go under.
Ooh, really?
I think they're going to lose over 100 games.
So
like I'm thinking like 55 and 105.
That's brutal.
They're bad.
So I'm going to go with you and go under, only because I feel like there is always at least one team that has to lose 100 games.
Yeah.
And of all the teams this year, I don't see any other team losing over 100 games. So I'm going to go under with you, even though it would not surprise me if they get like 65 wins.
I don't think there's any way they break 60.
You don't think so? I wouldn't surprise me if they get to like 62 to 65.
Maybe. I don't know.
But just to be safe, I'm gonna go under.
Okay. All right. So the next one is the Colorado Rockies at 63.5 games. So they would be 100 or 90, 96.5 and 63.5.
I'm gonna say over.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over. I don't think they're a particularly good team, especially because we see them a lot. Being a Giants fan, I don't think they're that bad.
Okay, I am actually gonna go under here, and the only reason for that is because they play in a division with the Dodgers and the Padres.
Yeah, but not all their games are played against, though.
I know, but that's already. I wouldn't be surprised if both those teams sweep the Rockies, which is 35 losses already.
When you put it that way, no, I'm sticking with my over. We're gonna stay there.
To your point, though, they also play the Giants and the Diamondbacks, who are both not as good. So
we're not going to talk about the Giants right now. They're kind of hurting me.
Well, we're going to get to them pretty quick here. So.
Oh, yes. I'm going to have okay, hold on. I'm going to have to get another beer real quick. Go ahead and do yours for the Orioles, and I'll be right back.
So the next one is the Baltimore Orioles at 64.5, so one game better than the Rockies. I'm gonna go under on them too. I'm gonna be a pessimist here. They have the Blue Jays, the Yankees, and the Rays, who are all really good, and they're really bad. So I can't see them winning a lot of games. And their fourth team in their division is Boston, who probably got better than last year. So they're gonna get beat. They're gonna be beat up so badly in their division.
Okay, this one's going to be a fun one. So the Orioles have, in my opinion, one of the coolest old school uniforms. So just because of that, I think they're going to be better than 64 and a half games. I'm going to go over.
Okay. just because of
that, I've got to have one random pick for all of these, and I think that I'm going to use my random pick on this one. I think I'm just going to go over, and we'll see where it goes. Just because they have cool uniforms, and that's how everyone picks their team.
Of course,
that's the only way.
All right. So next, we have the Texas Rangers at 67.5.
I think 67.5. That's still them losing like 90 games.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go under.
Okay.
I think that's where I want to be. I think their division is going to be a little underrated with the A's, the Angels, and the Astros. I think they're going to be a little better than they're projected to be. I don't think they're going to be like way better, but I think they're going to be a little better than they're projected at. So I would say that it wouldn't surprise me if the Rangers get kind of beat up and end up under that mark.
And yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I've gone under everyone so far, but I have to go under for the Rangers too. I just don't see it. Like you said, even the Mariners aren't a bad team.
No, and I think they're gonna play. I think a lot of the teams in that division and a lot of the AL teams they're gonna have to face are gonna be a little. I think the AL is looking really good. Other than one division in the National League, I think the AL is looking a lot better than the National League overall.
Yeah, like you and me both think whoever wins the NL West is gonna win everything.
Yes,
but outside of that, the AL is more balanced.
I would agree with that. I would 100% agree with that.
But
there's more parity, as they would say.
Right. So next is the Detroit Tigers at 69.5.
Can I just say they're going to win 69 so I could say giggity?
I mean, that would be under, so yeah. You can say that.
I mean, I guess, okay, I guess that's true. I don't know. This one's a tough one. Because the division they're in is, I think, going to be a runaway by the White Sox. I think they're going to win that division. I don't think it's going to be that close.
I disagree with you there, but
really,
the Twins are really good. The Twins and White Sox are both very young and very good.
I think the White Sox are going to have a +10 win margin. Over the second place in that division.
You think they're going to win the division by 10 plus?
I think so.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a 2-game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's down to the last weekend of the season.
I mean, the Twins, I think, are going to be good, but I think about 3/4 of the way through, not at the end of the season, I think about maybe 2/3 to 3/4 of the way, they're going to slowly kind of fall apart. And then I think they're going to pick it back up towards the end, but I think it'll be too little too late.
Okay. All right. So what's your pick for the Tigers?
I know the Tiger. We're going to go under. I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Royals got better. The Chicago White Sox got better. The Twins are still good. The Indians got worse, but they're still better than the Tigers. So I just think they're going to get beat up. The Tigers last year, just to throw this out there, just as an Indians fan to kind of brag. But last year, the Tigers beat the Indians once, one game out of however many they played. And it's the first game the Tigers have beaten the Indians in, it was like 2 seasons ago.
That's only 2 years. That's not that bad.
Okay. They won one game in 3 seasons against the Indians, is what I'm saying.
It's still not that bad. I've seen much worse.
That's like 35-1 against the team. All right.
When a team has your number, the team has your number. The Padres used to do that to the Giants all the time. Even when the Padres weren't good, they kicked the fuck out of the Giants. And I don't know why or how, but it happened. I'll let you go first for the Marlins.
Okay. So for Marlins, they are sitting at 70.5. I am going way over. I wouldn't be surprised if the Marlins hit 80 to 85.
Honestly, I'm thinking the same thing. I definitely take that over.
I think the Marlins are probably, just because I made this list and I already got to look at all these, I think the Marlins are probably my most underrated team on this entire list.
Is that kind of your sleeper pick this year for being better than people think?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it last week. I mean, I don't think they're going to like win their division or anything like that, but like people are picking them to be one of the worst teams in baseball, and I'm like, they went to the playoffs last year. Like,
okay, I definitely don't see them as the worst team in baseball.
No, but like 70.5 is bad.
Yeah,
like,
that's really bad.
90 and 70, like that's terrible. Or 70 and 90 rather.
Yeah, give or take.
That's really bad. No, exactly.
Well, no, because it's 162 games.
How was I thinking 160? I said I did that for like.
You did that for everyone so far, but I didn't. I wasn't gonna.
Well, what the hell?
It's close. Right. It's close enough, so it doesn't matter.
Moving on.
I'm with you with that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, on the Marlins, I'm with you. I'd take the over. I don't know how many they're gonna win over that. Like I don't have like a number in my head, but I just don't think they're gonna be that bad.
I honestly think they'll be a low 80s. I think they'll be around 500, which much better than,
which would be 81 and 81.
And
yeah, that's literally almost a dozen games better than what they're having.
Okay, Seattle Mariners are sitting at 72.5 right now. What are you thinking?
The Mariners, I don't really know. Honestly, I don't really know everybody the Mariners have right now.
I'm trying to think. They still have Cano, right?
I mean, we did have them set as our second to worst in that division.
Yeah. Oh, they're not going to be good.
I went under on the Rangers because they're in that division, but I'm going to say under. I'm going to go under.
Okay.
You know why? And I think they're going to hit the 72 mark, which is why I'm picking the under. I think it's going to be under by that much. I think it's going to be very close.
Okay. So you think the prediction's like right on? Basically?
Yeah, I think they're right on the money here with the over under.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. I think under, and yeah, I think they're going to be right around 70. Like maybe right over it. So yeah, I don't know. But just to throw it out there, they have Kyle Seager, and that's literally the only name. Mitch Haniger. Those are literally the only 2 names on their entire starting roster or projected depth chart. James Paxton at pitcher. They're the only names that I know on their entire team. So, yeah, under.
Like I said, I think the betting line here is right on the money. I honestly think they're going to be right at that like 70, 72, 74. It could, like, if they go over, I don't think it's going to be by a lot. I think it's going to be by 1 or 2 games.
All right, Kansas City Royals 73.5. So 1 game better than the.
I'm going to take the over there.
I agree.
They're actually, and I know we talked last episode about how we don't put a ton of stock into spring training, but in spring training so far they're looking pretty good. They're not. I honestly think they're in the lead in the Cactus division. Something quick. Yeah, it looks like they're actually leading the Cactus division right now, which I know, like we said, spring training doesn't mean a ton. But for 73.5, I think that's definitely going to be an over.
Yeah, they got some really good pieces, and they've been kind of rebuilding for a few years, so they got some young players coming up this year, and they added a few solid veterans. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're around 500. All right, Arizona Diamondbacks 75.5.
Now we've hit the NL West. Fuck the Diamondbacks. Under.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on.
Nope. Do it. Lock it.
No, I'm not locking. That is not my final answer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't want to say this, but I'm probably going to go over. I think they're going to be just over 500, which would put them over.
Yeah. I'm kind of torn on that one. I'm leaning toward under. Maybe I'm just a pessimist because I've done a lot.
I was going to say, like, all of yours are under. 3/4 of yours are under. Everyone's losing all their games this year. Best season of baseball ever.
And I guess the Giants can win a few.
I wish.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean under on this one. I honestly think they're gonna be maybe the second worst team in that division. Yeah, I'm gonna go under, but I think this is another one where the betting line's kind of right on point.
Really, because you had them as the third in that division last week for the predictions, yeah. Because you got to remember the Rockies and the Giants are both in that division.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm backtracking on it.
Look at Renee backtracking already.
I'm backtracking on my predictions. I'm sticking with my under.
Okay. So then you're
back.
Or
I could just say the Giants are also going to be under and be like, yeah, fuck you. All right. So here you go. Fireproof's team, San Francisco Giants, 75.5, projected to be tied with the Diamondbacks.
That's. Can we just skip this one?
No. I'll go first if you want.
Go ahead. Go first.
I'm going over.
Really? You think so?
We talked about this last week, and you obviously know more about everybody on the team, but like, I think a lot of the pieces they added are solid. And they added a lot of pieces.
Yeah, a lot of starting pitching.
Yeah. Alex
Wood might not even be on the roster opening day.
I'm just saying.
Injured list. Already back spasms. Going to a back specialist.
Okay, but who on that list was Alex Wood really the guy you were super pumped for?
He was the only pitcher that they got that actually I knew. Everybody else is just who they got? The Del Scalfini. I can't remember his name.
He's pretty good.
He's gonna be our number 3, I think, in our rotation. I mean, I don't know who our number 1, number 2 is gonna officially be between Cueto and oh fuck, I can't even think of it right now. But he's going to be our number 3. 1 and 2, I think, is up for grabs. 3, 4, and 5, or 4 and 5 are going to be up for grabs.
Aaron Sanchez is solid too if he comes back.
So
solid. Tommy La Stella is a good second baseman.
He's okay defensively. The problem is with the ball being deadened and the park that they play in, even with the new dimensions, because they did update that park.
Okay. Did they? Wait, what did they change?
Okay. So we can get into this when we talk about the stadiums we've been to, but they did change the outfield. They brought it in. There's a small partition in the outfield that got brought in 10 feet. It's not huge, but...
So is right field all the same?
The brick wall right field is all the same, but that, triples alley that's out there, that's 427, that got brought in.
Oh, I hate that. I love that.
Okay, so we can talk about that on the other episode when we talk about actual ballparks, but yes, so they have updated the park a little bit. I don't think it really changes like drastically the way the park plays. But being a Giants fan and going to several games a year, typically, me and the wife tend to go to at the very least, 2 to 3 games a year. Mm-hmm. I'm hopeful for the over, but because I want to be a douche, I'm going under.
Okay.
I think legitimately, with the roster the Giants have put together, I think they're going to be the worst team in that division. I know that's not what I predicted originally.
Whoa. You think they're going to be worse than the Rockies?
I think so. So the problem with the Giants is they have a jack of all trades but master of none everywhere. Okay,
but the Rockies.
I'm telling you.
The Rockies got rid of their best player and didn't add a single MLB player.
Okay, maybe that's just me being a little facetious, but they're going to be at the very bottom of that division. They're going to be fighting for last place.
I'm not saying the Giants are going to be good. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they're at like 78, 79.
Maybe I'm just a little bitter looking at the standings for so far how they've done and what their pitchers are looking like, and the fact that they are literally the worst defensive team in baseball right now for spring training, which it's spring training, but I mean, I don't think those guys are going to get a whole lot better in 2 weeks. Because, I mean, hitting is something that, it takes a couple weeks or a couple months to really find your rhythm. Defense is defense. You're either good at it or you're not. And the Giants are showing right now that they are not a defensive team. And the Giants, what has made the Giants successful has been great pitching, good defense, and they haven't had that since 2015? So I would not surprise me if they are at the very, very bottom. I mean, maybe they're not the worst in the division because you're right, the Rockies are kind of bad, but they will be, I think, right behind them.
To be the second worst team in all of baseball.
I mean, but I think the Giants will be right behind them. So the pessimist in me is going to say under, but the realist in me is going to say they're probably going to go over, but I'm still going to say under because I'm salty right now.
Okay. Well, we'll move on then.
Sorry, I'm...
No.
I get it. Yeah. The Giants are making me mad right now.
All right, so we'll go to the Chicago Cubs, which are at 78.5. So we're still under 500 for all these teams. I think they're going to be over this for sure. I can't imagine they're going to be this low.
I think I'm with you on that one. I can't imagine they're that bad. I think they're going to be over a 500 team.
They have the Reds, Brewers, and Pirates in their division. They're going to beat the crap out of.
Yeah, that's probably 50 games right there.
I mean, now, to be fair, according to Vegas here, the Brewers and the Reds, they have both winning more games. So I don't can really understand that, but
I don't know, but we kind of briefly mentioned off of the podcast that some of the Vegas predictions kind of got us. We'll get to those a little bit later, but I don't really get where some of the Vegas predictions are coming from.
Yeah, closer to the top, it's a little weird. And just so everyone knows, after we do this, we're going to compare their predictions to what we predicted last week. So we'll get there, but so yeah, what are you saying for Cubs?
I'm gonna say over too. I think they're gonna be like an 85 to 90 win team.
Yeah, we both predicted they'd finish second in their division.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be pretty good. I think they're gonna be better than Vegas is predicting.
Yeah. All right, so Boston Red Sox 80.5. So we're getting close to being 500. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, hold on, before I say something stupid. Hold on. Let me double check where I put them last week.
I think we had them second to last in that division.
I'm going to go under. The surge of having LeBron James as one of their new owners is not going to do anything for them this year, and they're going to still suck. Well, suck for the Red Sox standards.
Right. Yeah, I'm 100% with you here. We talked about it with Baltimore, but they got to go up against New York, Tampa, and Toronto like 15 to 20 times each. And like they definitely got better. They also got a new GM who's really good, and they brought in a lot of people, but they also lost some big people. So I just don't see them being 80.5. I'd be more in the 75 range.
I see them as definitely a sub 500 team this year.
Yeah. All right. Phillies also at 80.5, same record. I don't. I'm
going to say under. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm going to go under. We have them set as last in their division.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be a fantastic team.
I don't think they added anyone.
I don't think they did either.
They've got 6 new relief pitchers, and that's it.
Yeah, see,
and they were really bad last year.
I'm pretty confident in that under.
Yeah.
See, the higher we get on the win totals, the more confident I get with calling unders.
Yeah. All right, so let's go Cincinnati Reds, 1 game better at 81.5.
Let's see, Cincinnati Reds. We have the Reds. I'm gonna say over, but I don't think it's gonna be by a lot.
Yeah, this is another one I'm kind of feeling like is sort of right on.
Yeah, well, I think they're pretty
they're
good,
right around 500.
But it wouldn't surprise me at all if they're like 2 or 3 games over 500, which would put them right in that 83-ish win.
They lost their best pitcher. They lost a couple other players, and they didn't really add a ton. This one's really hard for me. I'm gonna say over, but not I think they're gonna be right at 500.
See, that's kind of where I'm at. Well, see, if you think they're gonna be right at 500, though, you would technically want to take the under.
No,
because 81 is half of 162.
Yeah, I'm dumb. All right, we're going under.
Another under. I think they're going to be at like 83.
Yeah, they're definitely low 80s. They're definitely not winning that division.
All right, my guy, tell me how your Indians are going to do. They're at 81.5. What do you think?
Okay, maybe I'm just an optimist, but I'm going to go over.
See, you're such a better fan than I am.
Well, okay. They were 1 game out of first place last year. And yes, we lost Lindor, and I get it. But the new shortstop we got looks good. We didn't lose Jose Ramirez. We got some other solid players. Um, I just I see us still competing for a wild card, and you're not going to do that at 81. Like, we're definitely not winning our division. I'm not. I have no. I'm not that optimistic.
It's a Cleveland sports team. If they actually like won their division, that'd be surprising.
Oh, hold on a second. The Indians have won the division like 80% of the last 10 years.
I know. I just gotta. It's no fun if I don't give you shit.
Also, the Browns and the Cavs suck right now, but the Cavs were really good.
How good? Well, really good. Maybe I should shut up the Warriors. Although the Warriors are actually fighting for a playoff spot.
I haven't paid attention to the Cavs in a couple of years. I don't.
You mean since LeBron left?
Yeah, exactly. Literally that day.
You're like, oh, he's gone.
Who cares?
It's a wrap.
I know. No, I mean, I know the players on the team, but like, I'm not watching games.
No, I get you. I get you.
I really do think they're going to be like right on the fringe of a wild card. I don't know if they'll get it, but I think they'll be more 86, 87.
See, I don't know a lot about the American League just in general because my team is a National League team, so I tend to follow them more. So I'm going to follow the Clevelanders' advice and go over here.
Okay.
All I gotta say is it's gonna be really funny when Cleveland changes its name to the Cleveland baseball team.
They're not going to. They already said they won't. I know you're trolling me, but like, to be clear, they literally already came out.
They already have their like next setup. It's gonna be next year, right?
Yet,
I thought they did.
What?
I thought they already had it like ready to go for next year.
No, they said they're going to have a new name by next year, but they haven't said anything. There's just to go really off topic here. There's a bridge right next to the stadium that goes over the river that goes through Cleveland, and it's got these really cool looking statues, and they're called the Cleveland Guardians. So that's a name that's been thrown around that I'm a big fan of, and just have those statues as the logo.
Before they were the Indians, do you know what their OG name was?
Yeah, the Spiders.
Okay, I don't like that. I think the Guardian sounds cooler.
It does. I wouldn't be upset if they. I'm about.
I mean, as far as history goes, I'm okay with if you're like, that's what we called ourselves. That's what we called ourselves. But I think from just a listening and hearing standpoint, I think the Guardian sounds better. Spiders always sounds a little cheesy to me. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I have no problem with them changing the name. So as long as it's something that isn't super corny, I'm fine with it. All right. So LA Angels at 83.5 games.
I am going to take the under there. But again, I think they're pretty close here. I think they're going to be like a 75 to 80 win team.
Yeah. You said over?
Or yeah, over, sorry. Sorry, I had them higher.
We talked about this last week when we were making our predictions. I think they're going to be the second team in that division. You think they're going to be the third. So I'm definitely going over because I think they're going to be up near 90. And if Shohei Ohtani keeps hitting the ball like he is right now, it might be more. Because that dude is rocking the ball. I think he has, I don't know what he did today. Coming into today, he had like 4 home runs over the last 3 days.
Yeah, but the problem is they tout him as a hitting and pitching player.
Well, yeah, but he only pitches one day and then he DHs the other 4.
Yeah, but I see something faltering. And maybe he's the guy that changes that like idea that you can't really pitch and hit. But yeah. I think you can only focus so much energy in one direction to be as good as he is, that I think either his pitching is going to fall off a little bit and he's going to eventually, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but down the road, I think he's going to have to go one way or the other.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years from now he's just a DH.
I was going to say, and I think he's going to lean hitting because he can hit bombs.
He's not even just a power hitter. He's just a good hitter.
Like I like Shohei Ohtani. I just and maybe it's just me being a baseball like OG. Like I like old school baseball, and you don't see pitchers hit very well, and when you do, it's really cool. But realistically, you don't see them being a Giants fan, we had one of the best hitting pitchers in all of baseball for a while. Now Arizona has him. I want to say fuck him, but he's so good I don't want to.
To be fair though, he was one of the best hitting pitchers, and he hit like 190.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, but he could hit bombs, and everyone like you see your pitcher go yard. That's a huge thing.
Yeah. I mean, this is my pro DH coming up, but like this is why I hate pitchers. It's so boring.
This is a conversation we need to get into. We'll get into it maybe next week. Yeah, it definitely is. Maybe we'll get into it next week. Is the DH and is it needed in the in the National League? Because I strongly disagree that the DH is needed in the National League, and we'll get into that maybe next week. But I feel like I've been spoiled as a Giants fan because we have had one of the better hitters for a pitcher. And it wasn't just him. Like we had Jonathan Sanchez, who was a decent pitcher for us. He's kind of a head case, but he was a good pitcher when he was right. But he could hit a little bit.
Yeah, like you said, we'll get into it on another episode. But that's called a tease right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no! Go ahead. All
right. I was gonna say Milwaukee. Just go to the next one. Milwaukee Brewers here, 83.5. Same as the Angels. I'm going under. They lost a really good player.
What was their record last year?
I have it for you. They were Central. Yeah. They were 29-31.
And they didn't add anybody really.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. They didn't. It wasn't them that lost, but they didn't lose anyone. They didn't really gain anyone. They got Colton Wong, who's a decent second baseman, but
I actually don't mind him.
I mean, he's good, but he's older and he's not what he was.
I'm gonna go under, but I don't think it's gonna be like a lot. I think they're gonna be at like 80 to 82 wins. I think they're gonna be a 500 club.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're low 80s, upper 70s, but yeah, I don't think they'll be over 500. Okay. Washington Nationals, 84.5.
I'm gonna go under.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be by much. I think this is another team. There's like 5 or 6 teams that I feel like Vegas was kind of almost right on, and I think this was one of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm also under, but I think they're going to be right at 500. And the only reason I'm not saying 84 and I'm saying 81 is the Braves and the Mets are gonna beat them up. But I think they're right just under what they're predicted at.
Yeah, I think they're going to be under, but I don't think it's going to be by a ton.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to be a terrible team.
No. All right. St. Louis Cardinals, 86.5.
Why don't you go ahead, lead this one?
Okay. I'm gonna go over. I picked them to win the division. They got Nolan Arenado, who's incredible.
Yeah.
And they didn't lose anybody.
Trust me, I've seen Nolan Arenado. Fuck that guy.
So I'm going over on them. I think they're gonna be up a little over 90 personally.
I actually am kind of feeling the same way.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over on that one too.
Yeah. I just can't see them. I'm actually curious now. Okay. So Vegas actually has them winning the division at 86.5. So they just have that as a terrible division.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, to be fair,
90.
we had them winning that division. Maybe not quite at that low of a win scale, but we had them at that top of that division too. So
yeah. Okay, next one, Toronto Blue Jays.
What do they have them over under at right now? Let's see. They have them at 86.5. Ooh, I'm taking the over on that all day, every day. Vlad Jr. Yeah. I mean, again, like spring training doesn't mean a ton, but Vlad Jr. is looking real good this spring training. And if that carries over to the season and he's healthy, they've added some good guys this year. We'll get into it a little later. I had them winning that division. I think you did too as well.
Yeah. Yep.
They do not agree with us. Vegas doesn't, but like I said, we'll get into that a little bit later. I think that's definitely an easy over pick.
Yeah, I think they'll be like 95. I think that's almost going to be a 10 game. They might even be over 95, honestly.
That would not surprise me if they win close to 100
that
games.
Division, they're going to have to be close to 100.
I think they're going to win 98 games.
Blue Jays beat each other up.
If nobody gets hurt and everybody plays to the potential that I personally kind of see, I think they're a 98 win team.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one. Okay, Tampa Bay Rays, 86.5. So they actually have the Blue Jays and Rays tying.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. I am gonna go. I'm actually gonna go over on the. Freaking hell!
I'm going under. Tough. I'm going under.
Okay, I'm gonna go over, but like by a game.
See, I think they're gonna be under by like a couple games. I think they're gonna be just over 400 or over 500.
I think this division is going to be good. I wouldn't be surprised if you have 3 teams at like 88 and above.
Okay, as a National League fan, because that's where my team plays, I think the most exciting, there's 2 divisions that I'm looking forward to watching play. The AL East and the NL West. And I know my team's in the NL West, but I don't care. My team is not who I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah.
The battle between the Dodgers and the Padres is what I'm looking to watch. But I think Toronto is going to go blow for blow with the Yankees and everybody else in baseball. And I think they're going to win. So if I don't take the over there, I would be stupid.
My personal hope. Wait, we're on Tampa. You took.
Oh, my bad. Tampa Bay, I'm going to say under, but
I actually kind of hope the Yankees get really hurt again, like they do every single year.
They don't get hurt that much.
Aaron Sanchez, or not Aaron Sanchez. Crap, what's his name? the catcher for the Yankees. It's something Sanchez. Anyway,
I think you're right.
Aaron Judge.
I think it's Jonathan Sanchez. No, that's not right.
No.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Go ahead and you finish your point. Anyway, I'll look it up.
Those guys are hurt every single year, and they have some, they're the Yankees, so they have some older players who are gonna miss days, and so I'm hoping the Rays. I'm hoping that it's Toronto, Tampa, New York, but if New York's healthy, I would not be surprised if they're over Tampa. Still under Toronto, but anyway. It's Gary Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez, yeah. I literally just pulled it up.
Popped in my head.
I just pulled it up.
All right, so we'll move on. Houston Astros, 87.5.
I'm gonna call the under, but I don't think it's gonna be by more than like 3 games.
This is another one I think is kind of spot on.
I think I'm definitely gonna take the under here.
Okay.
Because I had them. Well, no, maybe I should take the over because I had them at 2.
Now, we'll just go to the next one while we're on this. They have the A's and the Astros tying to win that division. So
see, I had the Astros at number 2 instead of 3, whereas you had them the other at 3.
I'm going under because, I mean, I have them over LA, who's 4 games farther back. So
I'm gonna say. See, I want to say over, but I think they're going to go under. I just think it's going to be by like a very, very small margin. This is one that I think is going to be pretty close to right.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
And I think that as far as the Astros go, I think I would definitely go under. The A's.
Okay. So yeah, A's also at 87.5.
I'm going to go over for the A's.
Okay. I'm with you. I think the A's are winning the division, so.
And then they're going to lose in the first round like the A's do, and it's going to be baseball is normal.
Yep. I am 100% there with you.
Not much need to be said there. I think they're going to win their division. They're going to flame out, and then that's going to be it.
Minnesota Twins, another AL Central team. I just talked about how I think the Twins and the White Sox are going to be right there with each other. Vegas kind of agrees. So they have Minnesota at 88.5. I'm going over. I think they'll be more around 90. But yeah.
I'll take the over there.
Okay.
But like you said, I don't think it's going to be by much. I think they're going to be in like between where they're at right now at 88.5 and 90. I don't think they're going to win more than 92 at the most.
Yeah. All right. So then the White Sox are next. They have them at 90.5. I'm also going to go over on them.
100% taking the over.
I think they'll be like 95, 94, somewhere around there.
I'm predicting 95 to 100.
Dang, going real high on the White Sox. Okay, so this is another one that I don't understand fully.
The Mets?
It's the New York Mets at 90.5, the same as the White Sox. I picked the Mets to win that division.
Yeah, we agreed that the Mets were probably going to win that division.
Yeah. I think they're going to win 97, 98. So this is an easy over for me.
I would probably say over as well. Like I said, we both were pretty much in lockstep with them winning that division. I think that's an easy over. But then again, it's the Mets. And the Mets are kind of like the Browns. The Browns be Brownin', the Mets be Metsin'.
Okay, but the Browns made the playoffs and went 2 rounds deep. So what you're saying is that the Mets are going to be great this year. And almost took out
Touche.
The Chiefs. I'm just saying. Okay, but yeah, so we both agree.
Yeah, we both agree. Like,
I mean, the Mets are not the Mets anymore.
I agree. And they added what, Lindor, right?
What?
This year?
What's that?
They were the ones that got Lindor from you guys, right? Yeah.
And they added a bunch of other good pieces.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I think that's an easy over.
Same. So then the Atlanta Braves, who are right in the same division, they have it 91.5, so 1 game better.
I'm definitely going under because, like I said, we both agreed that we think the Mets are going to win that division.
Yeah. So I agree, but I'm actually going to go over.
Oh, really?
I think the Mets are going to win like 98, 97, and I think the Braves are going to win like 93, 94. The Braves are good.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I don't think the Braves are bad at all, like by any stretch. I just wouldn't be surprised if they were more around the 80, 88 range.
Yeah. Okay. So Padres 94.5.
Over. Easy.
Yeah.
Over. There's not much to say. They added a ton of people this offseason.
Almost everyone they added was an all-star.
Yeah, like they're stacked this year.
I don't get this.
If the Padres do not win the World Series this year, they will literally never win the World Series again.
Now, to throw this out there, almost everyone the Padres signed are under like multi-year extensions.
Ooh.
So the Dodgers are going to keep getting older, and the Padres are just going to keep their all-star team together.
That's true. Like I said, to me that's an easy over. That's 100% easy over.
They're going to be 98, 99.
Really, I think they're going to be over 100. I think that's the only team this year that's going to be guaranteed over 100 wins.
Wait, but you have the Dodgers. You picked the Dodgers to win that division.
Okay, maybe the second team.
There's going to be 200 team winners.
I think there's going to be 200.
Division?
I think there's 2.
That's insane. There's no way that's ever happened in baseball before.
Hold on, I'm going to look it up right now.
I don't know.
I think the Padres are good. So when we made our choices, I was tough between the Padres and the Dodgers. The reason I picked the Dodgers over the Padres was only because of consistency and having people basically bringing their whole team back or most of their team back.
Yeah, totally fair.
But as far as like on paper talent wise, I think the Padres might have the edge over the Dodgers, to be completely honest.
Yeah. I honestly don't even know if that's debatable. Yeah, I think talent-wise, if you went position by position, I think the Padres are
a better team.
It comes down to coaching and, like you said, consistency, that like camaraderie you have with the same players every year.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers and I think the Padres are both going to be 100-win teams. That's a hot take. You let me take it right now. We're gonna.
I mean, all right. Yeah, I don't know if you.
Honestly, I don't even know if that's possible. 2 teams in the same division winning 100 games. I mean, I guess
if they went 500 against each other and just beat the crap out of the rest of their division.
Maybe that's just me being in the clouds a little bit. But I think San Diego and LA are both going to be over 100 wins.
It's not the craziest hot. Like, I could see it. I could see it happening. I don't know. That's a lot of wins for two teams in the same division. But they're gonna have to basically beat the crap out of everyone else.
Everybody else.
Which
Everybody
they can both
else.
do. All right, so we'll move on to the Yankees before we get to the Dodgers. They're at 95.5. I'm going way under on this. I'm thinking like 80, 88, 89. I guess not way under, but like 6-7 games.
I'm thinking the Yankees should be where the Blue Jays are at 86 wins. Yep. So I'm gonna definitely take the under. We both had Toronto winning that division. I think Toronto, if they play to their ability or potential ability, I should say, I think Toronto wins that division. I don't think it's really that close, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's a 5 to 10 game. I don't think it's going to be a full 10 games, but I think it's somewhere in like the 5 game range for that division.
We'll mention it a little more when we get down to the comparing.
Yeah,
there's ours, but yeah.
But I definitely, I think that's an easy under. I think they're going to win about 90 games. I think that's going to be about it.
Maybe it was pointed out that in 2018, the Red Sox and Yankees both had 100.
So it is possible. So there we go.
Can be done. Happened very recently.
So my hot take is not a hot take at all. It's just me predicting 200 team wins in the same division.
That's insane. All right, so let's end with the number 1 team according to Vegas, which is the Dodgers. Not really. That is not a hot take.
I think that's going to be an over. I think they win 103. I think they win 103 games this year. Okay. Well, like I said, I have 200 plus win teams. I think the Padres are going to do incredible because I had the Dodgers winning. So if I have the Padres over 100, I definitely got to have the Dodgers over 100. So I would say over.
I'm going to say under, but like not. I'm thinking they're like 99. Like I think they're right there, but yeah, for the same reason I picked the Dodgers or the Padres to win the division.
I was going to say that makes sense because you picked them over the Dodgers, or the Padres over the Dodgers, I should say.
So, all right, so that's our over-unders. We'll
it's going to be so funny to look back at this and be like, wow, how wrong were we?
So I'm going to scroll down and do our comparison while we're talking about the team odds here really quick.
Yeah, let's check that out.
So we'll start with the AL East. So Vegas has the Yankees winning by 9 games.
I don't see that.
And Toronto being tied, and then Boston, then Baltimore.
See,
I don't see it.
I don't see that at all. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Yankees just pull Yankee shit because they're the Yankees. I don't know, but I have Toronto running away with that division, in my opinion.
Okay. See, I don't have them running away, but
I think it's a 5+ game.
I think it's like Toronto 95, Tampa 93, Yankees like 89.
Okay.
Like I think those 3 teams are all going to be within like 6 or 7 games at the end of the year.
That's fair.
But yeah, the bottom 2 Red Sox Orioles, we both agreed with Vegas. AL Central, we 100% agreed.
Yeah,
Chicago,
literally.
Minnesota, Cleveland, Kansas City, Detroit. Nothing really.
And what's funny is the AL West. I agree with Vegas to it, what they're going to have with the Astros being second and the Angels being third, but you disagreed with that one.
Yeah, I have the Angels over the Astros. We both had all 3, including Vegas, had Oakland winning, Seattle and Texas at the bottom. But yeah.
Well, technically they had Oakland and Houston tying.
True. That's true.
And I don't think that's the case. I think Oakland wins the division. And I think Houston's a couple games back.
Yeah. Yeah. Houston really, I mean, we talked about it last week. Houston didn't really add much, and they lost George Springer. So I just have a hard time envisioning them being up there. Um,
Telling you.
but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll come back to this. Um,
Oh, we
all right,
will, and it's gonna
NL
be
East.
real fun when we do.
Yeah. Um, the NL East, we had you and me agreed on all these. We had New York, Atlanta, Washington, Miami, Philly. They just
Switched to
swapped.
Miami, Philly, and New York, and
Yeah.
Atlanta.
So when we were talking about it last week, I was debating putting Miami at 3, and they have Miami as losing the division by 21 games. So they
I
definitely disagree
honestly,
with me on that
I don't,
one.
I don't disagree with you on that one to an extent. I mean,
What's
like,
really
I
mind-boggling to
don't see them
me
as the
is
worst in that division.
what's really mind-boggling is they have Miami 10 games behind Philly. Like they
Yeah,
have them in last by 10 games.
I
And
definitely
I
don't see that.
I feel like Miami got better and they finished second in that division last year. Like I don't really now granted, New York obviously got better. The Braves are really good, but like I don't understand. Anyway, and then yeah, you and me both picked the Mets to win it. They had the Braves winning by a game, so they have it close, but I think the Mets are a 97 win team, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the Mets definitely win that division. But although then again, at the same time, it would not surprise me if the Braves kind of inch their way into that first spot. But at the same time, I think the Mets are just too good, especially with picking up who they've gotten this year.
Yeah,
Lindor, like I think the Mets come out and don't play like the Mets. They play like an actual
yeah,
good baseball team.
agreed. NL Central, we had we had St. Louis winning the division, which we all agreed on, including Vegas. But then they had Milwaukee coming in second, Cincinnati in third, Chicago in fourth. We
Yeah,
had
this
the
is probably the one division that we actually like really disagree with Vegas on.
yeah, we all had the Cardinals winning,
Yeah.
but they had Milwaukee coming in second, which I don't understand at all.
I don't know if I see that.
Like if they would have said that everybody in the division was gonna win like 78 games or something, then sure. But like they have the Milwaukee winning 83. I just I don't understand that.
Yeah,
But
I don't get that either.
yeah. We had Chicago in second. They had Chicago in fourth. We had Cincy in third, which we agreed. So we basically just switched Milwaukee and Chicago. But
Basically, yeah.
that's from 2 to 4, not like 2 to 3. So
Yeah,
that's a
that
big
is kind of a
switch.
big switch.
And then we agreed with with the NL West. You agreed with them. I think San
Yep.
Diego is going to win the division, but we all agree that that's going to be a close. Well, you and me agree it's going to be a close one. They have the Dodgers winning by 7, which does not make sense to me.
I don't see that at all. I think the Dodgers and Padres are both going to be 100-win teams. I think it's going to be like 20, what was it, 2018? Let's see, someone did,
Yeah,
like Jennifer said, 2018. I think it's going to be that same. I think it's going to be like 101 or 100-win team and another 103-win team. I don't think it's going to be like 110 or something crazy.
yeah,
But I think that's going to be two teams that win 100 plus games, and I think the Dodgers edge out the Padres only because of consistency and bring basically their whole team back. But like we said earlier, if you really look on paper, I honestly think the Padres might be a better team.
yeah.
If you
It'll
really
be
look at the
really
stats and
interesting
you
to
go
see
player
how.
by player, position by position.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the top of that division plays out. But
All I know is that we all, I had the Diamondbacks above the Giants. My pessimism for the Giants, as much as I am a Giants fan, is killing me because I 100% think that the Giants are gonna suck this year, like suck this year, and I think it's because of the way that the GM thinks about putting a team together. But maybe that's a discussion for another time. Maybe what would you prioritize?
Right. Like our baseball philosophies.
Yeah, baseball, like legitimate baseball philosophies. Do you like the analytics? Do you prefer just looking at guys and seeing what their stats actually show up to be? All that kind of stuff.
I like that idea.
But I don't think we were too far off of actually what Vegas thought overall.
Yeah,
there's
and
a couple divisions.
That we were off. I still disagree with Vegas. So.
I mean, obviously we disagree with them, but it'll be interesting to see at the end of the year who is more accurate. Are we more accurate, or are they more accurate?
Let us know. I'll go in and I'll. I guess we can't really do anything, but yeah, I would be curious to see between us two who's more accurate on the over-unders, and then for us for the division versus them.
I could do the predictions. I can add a scene real quick where it shows both of ours on screen so we have actual.
That'd be cool.
Okay, hold on. Let me do it real quick. Go ahead and talk for a second.
All right. Yeah, just to close out after we look at this, we're gonna do the odds for the MVPs and Cy Youngs and close it out with that. But yeah, I feel good about my predictions even after looking at this list, because the ones that we don't agree with, I'm like, I just don't understand Vegas's style. So
I agree with you. There are a few of them that I'm looking at and I'm like, how did you get there?
Right. Like the Yankees one I get, because if they can stay 100% healthy, I guess I get it. I don't see them winning by 9. And I still think even if they do hit their prediction at 95, I still think Toronto could maybe get them, but and then the Padres only winning 94. I don't know. The only thing I can think is they're projecting them to get out to a slow start and then finish strong as the team comes together, but it's very weird to me. It is interesting that we completely agreed on the AL Central.
All right. Let me actually zoom in here for a second on our. Can I zoom in? How do I zoom
in? Control scroll wheel. That zooms in on the page. I don't know.
Well, that's good. That's actually kind of
what I want. Okay.
Because then I can kind of scroll through all of these. Don't look super clear.
I'll figure it out.
Wrong one. Let me grab 2 of this. I added it in the middle of us. There we go. No. Go back to the window. You piece of
struggling hard.
No, it like was. I get to the little things. Okay. Hold on. All right. So these are kind of what our predictions have been so far. I'm gonna uncover you. That way you can still be seen.
You just put it. Just put it in the middle of the box.
That's basically kind of what I'm doing. Okay, so these are our predictions so far. As you can see, our AL East is by far different. We have the Toronto winning. But other than that, we're pretty.
For the most part, one of us, like, actually both times you and me disagree. You tend to lean toward what Vegas has.
Which is kind of ironic.
With Houston over LA and Um, Dodgers over Padres, but
yes, anybody who's looking at this maybe on YouTube, left is Vegas, obviously. Right is our predictions.
yeah.
I actually really gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. 1 sec.
All
Wait.
right. All right. But yeah, so yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm really kind of pumped we did this on our first couple episodes and got it in before the season so that we can really come back and look at this at the end of the year. That's our kind of thinking as it stands right now. Is we'll come back end of the year, end of the season, and we'll talk about what is how right we were, how right Vegas was. We'll look at all our over unders and see how we did with that. And then go from there. So we are going to get into the odds for MVP and Cy Young. So I couldn't find, like, odds are weird and I don't really understand them. So I had to look up how they work.
I am so sorry.
Do you know how odds work? As far as like the plus minus, like plus 100, what that means and stuff?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Depends on what you're talking about. When are you talking about, like
gambling?
Yes
Or
and
like
no. I've
odds?
never really gambled as far as.
Well, I had to look it up, but so basically, this is the way all betting is done now. Apparently, there is no like 4-1 odds or whatever. But basically, so the number is how much you win if you place $100 bet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's like if the odds are like plus 200, that means if you put down $100,
you're gonna win double your money
back. You get no.
Well, yeah, because you would win double your money, so you would get your 100 back plus the 200 that you won.
Yeah, right. So yeah, if you bet 100 and the odds were plus 200, you would get $300 back. Yeah. So that's how the odds are. I did the top 5. They went to like the top 30 for each of these, and I was like, that's just too much. I just don't care that much. So I did top 5 for each award. So we'll start with AL MVP, and the odds-on favorite are Mike Trout, of course, and then everyone else falls off because Mike Trout's gonna win if he's healthy.
Okay, before we go any farther, can we just both agree that Mike Trout is the best baseball player of our generation that is not getting the love he deserves? Because it's hard for me to say that, because in my opinion, the best baseball player of our generation is Barry Bonds, but people will go steroids and everything else. But like, as far as like the younger generation, the people watching baseball right now, I think over the last 5 to 10 years, well, maybe 5 years, Mike Trout has easily been the best baseball player in all of baseball.
Not even a question.
Like, and it's not even close.
I am one of those people who would vehemently disagree with you that Barry Bonds was the best, but
we'll get into that.
And Mike Trout is the best I've ever seen play the game.
Like, Mike Trout is, I think, one of the most simultaneously best but underrated, because you don't see him player in all of baseball history.
Well, okay, so there's 2 reasons, and we can get into this if you want some other time.
Oh no, I'm actually down to jump into this right now with some of these.
Okay. But I mean, the reason he's underrated is because baseball sucks at marketing.
Well, yes, but the Angels have also done what in the postseason on national television?
I mean, true. And we actually mentioned it last week that, like, being on the West Coast, nobody in the East watches his games. Like,
Well, that's very true. Late night games, like night and afternoon games on the West Coast, are not typically watched on the East Coast because
Yeah.
it's like 10 o'clock at night when it starts.
Yeah. So like, I mean, honestly, like I know Mike Trout and I've seen his highlights, but like the amount of live Mike Trout games I've watched is very, very minimal.
Okay, as a Californian that lives in the same state he plays in, there's been very few Mike Trout games that I've been able to watch.
Okay.
Even with
But
like
also,
no local television being able to like show me games, the Angels just aren't on TV unless it's postseason.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, maybe in
wrong.
LA, but even in like Central California, the Angels, like, they just get no love.
I still think that goes back to marketing. Like the NBA is without question the best at marketing their players.
Ooh, I think the
No, the NFL is the best at marketing their teams and groups of players. The NBA is so player focused that like okay.
Okay, I can't disagree with you on that. I want to disagree, but I can't even disagree because I want to say football is better at it, but at the same time, you're 100% right. They're better at marketing.
Overall, marketing
teams.
the NFL is better without question. They're the biggest sport in America for a reason. But like there are tons and tons of NBA fans who don't even have a favorite team. They just have a favorite player, and they'll switch teams based on where their player goes.
I'm not gonna lie. I have my team, but I also have players that like I root for, as long as they're not playing against my team.
Right. So like the MLB does not do that at all. They don't market their players at all. They don't put their players on prime time. And to be fair, baseball is more of a team game than basketball.
Well, and to be fair, Mike Trout, if we're specifically talking about Mike Trout, he's not really an
he's
a personality
as a superstar. He's
like he's not a Fernando Tatis. He's not a, you know what I mean? He's not a not necessarily in your face. I guess that's a really bad way of, but he's not an outward facing like look at me, like this is what I can do. He just goes in, does his job at a better level than anybody else in his league, and goes home.
Like I would argue guys like Francisco Lindor, Fernando Tatis, Mookie Betts, like those guys are guys you should be marketing around because like Lindor is, just because I've watched him so long, like that dude has such an infectious personality. Like he's humble, but he knows he's good. Fernando Tatis is just awesome.
Fernando Tatis is funny.
The dude's got that swagger that I love it.
When there was an issue with him bat flipping, I was just like, yeah, this is definitely like if they market him right, he's the new face of baseball. Just because he was great.
But they don't market people right, and it's I mean, people have said that about baseball for over a decade, that they're just bad at promoting their sport. Yeah. Like the last time baseball was good at marketing their sport and promoting their sport was during the steroid era when they were promoting Sosa versus McGuire.
I know, right?
Like,
the corked bat versus the steroids. Which is better?
I mean, that's the last time baseball was like, you need to come watch us. Like, it sucks because of what it was, but it's true.
Another thing I want to add to, you know what, fuck another episode. I want to know your opinion right now. I'm putting you on the spot. Pace of play. How do you feel about that? Do you think the game right now is going okay? Do you think it's too slow? Do you think it's not too fast? What are your thoughts on actual pace of play when you look at the actual full length of a game?
I have two different ways to say this. For me personally, I have no issue with baseball the way it is. like, because I love baseball and I will sit there and I will watch a 4-hour baseball game and have no problem with that. But as if I were in charge of baseball, if I were the commissioner, I would be trying to adjust pace of play. Even though I like it how it is,
I mean, like they're doing right now.
I 100% understand that people's attention spans are at an all-time low, and baseball is the most boring sport to watch. And if you're not 100% in on a team, or you're not like a diehard fan, baseball is not exciting to watch. There's so much downtime, and I 100% understand why they're trying to speed up games. But for myself personally, I have absolutely no issue with where games are.
Okay, so I'm very passionate when it comes to pace of play, because when you look at it, everyone's talking about baseball games are boring, baseball games are slow, baseball games take forever. Insert whatever your fucking complaint is here. And I say fucking because I don't fucking care. Baseball is, and this sounds elitist, baseball is a thinking man's game.
Yeah.
It really is. It's not as simple as you go do this. Sometimes people do this. People switch a pitcher out to get their matchups. You know what I mean? It's a slow game. I agree with that 100%. Baseball is 100% probably the slowest professional sport, easily. Yeah. And I don't think it's even a debate. I really don't think that's even like challenged anywhere.
No, not at all.
But because, like, to me personally, I like when you can switch pitchers and get your matchup. Maybe you get a ground ball. That's exactly what you wanted. Like, it's mental. Like, you got to think about how you can progress and actually win. I don't want teams to start compromising because it's faster. I want people to win games. I don't care if that's my team, if that's in the World Series. Like, I want to see the strategy. That to me is about baseball. What is so fun to watch is the like small in-game adjustments. Like, okay, I'm going to swap out my left fielder right now because the person that I had in there was a good bat, but I now need defense because we're up by 1 run and I need that. Like, I like those little moves.
I don't disagree with anything you said, and me personally, I completely agree with it. My thinking for the second part of my answer isn't for me, it's for the future of baseball. And the future of baseball is dying.
So I see, this is where like the problem becomes, is because I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I
want baseball to stay long, and I want to have 4-hour games, and I want to have
I don't know about 4 hours. If I'm maybe there watching the game, that's one thing. But on TV, maybe like 3 hours, 3.5 hours is okay.
Right. Okay. You get what I'm saying.
But yeah, no, I 100% get what you're saying.
Like, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with boring 1-0, 1-2 games. Like, I'm good with that. But as far as what's going to happen 20 years from now, if baseball doesn't speed up the pace of play, they're going to have no players coming in.
But the problem is
nobody wants to play baseball when they're young.
At what point, though? Okay, this is a question that maybe we have to get a full episode into, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. At what point, though, does modifying the game for time affect the actual strategy of the game itself? And I think that's a tightrope walk. You know what I mean?
I do think that could be a full episode, honestly.
I don't disagree with you. I could probably talk about that for an hour just by itself.
Yeah, it's it is a tightrope, and you don't want to change the rules as much as changing like timing. Like I'm totally fine with like the clock between innings. Like
I'm okay
like
with
a
that
3
too.
minute or whatever, 2-3 minute clock between innings. That's plenty of time for a pitcher to warm up. Like I have no issue with that. Same with like if you want to throw a clock on the um like when a new pitcher gets called in, they have whatever 8 pitches to warm up. You got 2 minutes. Like I that's all fine with me. Telling batters to not step out of the box and walk around the batter's box for 5 minutes.
Okay,
Like,
so the walking around thing, I know you were about to say you're okay with that, but the walking around thing I think is ridiculous. But being able to step out and gather yourself, I think needs to be maintained, because sometimes you get a little overamped. Sometimes you need to just kind of like take that deep breath, kind of relax and go, okay, this is what I need to do. This is the count I'm in, whatever it may be for that particular situation. I'm okay with stepping out.
Yeah.
I think the people that step out every pitch,
right.
Like the Nomar Garcia Parras, let me do my...
David Ortiz did that every time.
Like, okay, that if you want to cut that out, I'm okay. But like, if you need to step out to just gather yourself as a hitter,
if you want to call time and like readjust the jersey and like stretch out your arm a little, I have no problem with that. But yeah, it's the people who like step out and then like turn their back and like walk around for a second. It's like, come on, man.
Okay, I can agree with you there. I can definitely agree with you there. Like that's not needed. But if you're trying to like fully like gather yourself, but then again, everyone would say that, well, that's how I gather myself. I mean it's a tough kind of, like I said, it's kind of like a tightrope walk. Like you want to give the batters the ability to collect themselves, because especially, I mean, regular season is what it is, but games matter.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, you would say it's a game, whatever, but overall, the games matter.
I hate the people who are like, it's only 1 out of 162. And it's like, yeah, you're right. But how often do divisions come down to like a 2-game difference?
So I say that shit all the time. Like, it's one game. Just get over it. Like, it's one game. But I don't, like, hearing you say that makes me think like, maybe I am being kind of an ass, just like, oh, it's just one game. Fuck it. What does it matter? But every game, like, in some divisions, one game is all that matters.
Right. Like, I don't disagree that sometimes I'm like, hey, we lost. Like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But then I'm like, at the end of the year, I'm like, man, I wish we would have won 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, right.
Like, we had a chance to win this game. We got to get it. Like, it is that toss-up.
I don't disagree at all. Like, I want to disagree, but I don't.
Yeah. It is one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's that tough balance of like, yeah, you don't want to lose because every game does technically matter, but like if you're getting blown out, like throw in your crappy pitchers.
Yeah, like you might as well just like get on to the next game.
Yeah. But
okay, so NL or AL MVP, I think we both agree that Mike Trout is literally the best player in baseball.
Yeah, and it's the betting shows that, so it's plus 200 for him. And then I'll just go through the other 4 really quick. Alex Bregman plus 1,000, Aaron Judge plus 1,200, Jose Ramirez plus 1,200, Anthony Rendon 1,500.
The fact that you go from plus 200 to plus 1,000 shows you that that's not even close as how good a Mike Trout is.
And the fact that plus 200 is his line is. Like, that's really low for betting on something like a full season award.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we both agree Mike Trout.
I think Mike Trout is the most underrated player in our generation, or the newer generation, I should say.
Yeah. The only reason he wouldn't win is, one, he gets hurt, or two, he falls into the LeBron thing where it's like every single year in the NBA, LeBron's the best player. Like, he just is.
Yes and no. If you looked at the stats, you could argue he wasn't, but
he might not be the best scorer or the best passer, but he is the best overall.
But if he's not the best scorer or passer, how is he the best overall? That's another discussion for another time. But so maybe we'll do a non-baseball podcast.
That there's a lot of people who vote for someone else just because they know LeBron's LeBron and they're like, let's give it to this guy who had a really good year.
That's fair. So
that's the only, that or injury are the only reason Mike Trout doesn't win the MVP every year.
I agree. Mike Trout is, I think, the most underrated baseball player of the current generation. Yeah. People see him and go, wow, he's good, and don't realize that he is literally going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, no question. He could retire today and be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, like he is literally the best player of the last 5 to 10 years.
I mean, depending on how much you look into advanced stats like WAR, he's the best player in the history of baseball.
Yeah, I was going to say. But, I mean, like, Mike Trout is underrated, I feel like, even though he is still considered, and even on this poll, he is considered the best player in the American League.
Yeah. Just to close that out. The people who do get to watch Mike Trout, like, you know, like say the Indians had a series with the Angels, I would watch.
I would watch it.
That's like 3 games out of the season. As opposed to... That's my last one, right? You know, like maybe he has a bad series. And actually, you're like, oh, he's overrated. The people who don't like keep up with baseball only see him for like those 3 or 6 games or whatever.
Well, that's why I think Mike Trout needs to leave LA.
Well, he can't because he's under contract for the next 10 seasons.
I get that, but like Mike Trout needed to leave the Angels when he had the chance. He needed to get to a team that was actually competitive. Because the Angels...
Well, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
The Angels need to get rid of Albert Pujols so they actually can spend money on players.
I'm not going to agree with that because I think Albert Pujols is one of the best players of the last 20 years. And I love Albert Pujols. As a person, he is like the one... He seems... I've never met him. But he seems like one of the nicest, coolest people ever.
Yeah, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I love Albert Pujols, but Albert Pujols signed like a 14-year contract worth like $400 million, and they can't afford anyone else between him and Mike Trout.
Well, but that's the Angels being fucking stupid and signing dumb contracts.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. I think Pujols has like 1 or 2 years left.
I think this is his last year, and I think the rest of them are potential team opt-outs.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick before we go any farther, I'm switching drinks. We're switching. Oh, come on. This is going to be... Okay. Oh, no, it's going to be super...
Struggle.
There we go.
Hard.
Summergird! It's a cherry shortcake sour. I had 1 beer left, so I wanted to switch to this just so that I had something that was different.
Interesting.
Oh my god, this thing is like blood red.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that cup. That's all I'm saying. Look at that cup. 2014 World Series championships. I'm spilling all over my phone. Sorry. As a Giants fan, sometimes you just gotta enjoy the fact that you won a World Series a couple times to never touch a World Series for like the next 10 years.
We got close. All right.
Okay. So NL MVP Mookie Betts and Juan Soto are actually tied for the odds. I'm actually a little surprised by this.
I mean, Mookie Betts is damn good, and he's been in LA for a year now.
Okay, I guess I'm more surprised that Juan Soto is tied with him than Mookie Betts is actually the winner on their polls.
Yeah, so the NL is very close. Up four all separated by 100 points. So Mookie Betts, Juan Soto, and then Cody Bellinger at plus 800, Fernando Tatis at 850. And then Ronald Acuna Jr. is number 5 at 1,000. I'm actually surprised Acuna is that far back because he's damn good too.
I'm not even. I agree with you on that one. I think Acuna should probably be top 3, but
who's the oldest on that list? Soto?
No, Bellinger.
Like, if you
just off of the top of my head, I think it's Bellinger.
That's a lot of very, very good young players. Like, there's a lot of good players coming up.
So I think Cody Bellinger is 29 this year, I want to say, which would make him the oldest of that particular group.
By far, yeah.
But I think Acuna Jr. is the most fun to watch. Personally, I think Mookie Betts.
Bellinger is only 25, by the way.
Oh, is he only 25? No fucking way.
Yeah,
I feel like he's been in the league for like at least 3 or 4 years.
Mookie Betts is 28. I'm just gonna look them all.
Yeah. Look them all up real quick because I'm curious. Because I would have said
Soto is 22.
Yeah, I knew Juan Soto was young, and I'm pretty sure Acuna is only 23.
Like 23.
Maybe 24.
20.
Yeah, so Mookie... Damn, I thought he was older. So Mookie Betts is by far the oldest of that group. And honestly...
And that's not even old at 28.
Like, that's younger than me.
Acuna's 28 or 23. That's 5 years younger than me.
Yeah, that's 28. That's.
You figure with the way the MLB works, like most players play till they're like 35, so like 28's not that young. Or not that old. Not that old.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty young.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts is definitely more developed than everybody except for maybe Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
I personally
that's a tough one to call.
So I am a little salty when it comes to Mookie Betts because he went to the Dodgers. I, as a Giants fan who needs anybody.
Well, okay, but he was not going to go to the Giants. They don't have anybody. He's not going to go there.
That's my point. They needed somebody. You got to start somewhere.
He left Boston to go ring chasing. He wasn't going to go to the Giants. Anyway,
the Dodgers buying all their championships. No. It doesn't surprise me that Mookie Betts, though, is number 1. I think Mookie Betts is one of the more underrated / adequately rated. I don't know how that makes sense. I think he's slightly underrated for what he does. He's not necessarily an offensive force, but defensively, there's literally almost no one better than him.
I would lean dark horse here and go Acuna. I really like watching him. He's so much fun to watch.
So the question here becomes, who is the better player or who is the face? Because I think Acuna Jr. and Tatis Jr. are more entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at pure ability and overall how they help their team, I think Mookie Betts and Cody Bellinger are the number 1, number 2.
Fair.
But if you want to talk, like I said, if you want to talk like just who is the most entertaining to watch, I'd much rather watch Acuna or Tatis over Bellinger or Betts. Personally.
Yeah.
I think they're more athletic. I think they're just more fun to watch. Their attitudes are more entertaining. When they talk in post games, it's more fun to listen to.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Honestly, I could have put the top 10 for NL because there's players that I left off of this that are like 6 through 10 that are all really good too.
All right, hold on. While you talk about whatever's coming up next, I want to look that up. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll move on to the MVP or the Cy Young rather. I don't actually know what website I used for you to look at, but I guess they're the same here. Freddie Freeman, Nolan Arenado, Francisco Lindor, Christian Yelich, Bryce Harper. Like, I mean,
are those for MVP?
What?
Are those okay?
Those are NL Cy Young, and like none of those guys are over plus 1,200. So like they're all right there. But
you got Garrett Cole and Shane Bieber. You think the Biebs might go back to back?
So Cy Young, Garrett Cole, Shane Bieber, Lucas Giolito are all the clear favorites. Number 4 and 5 are way down. If he pitches like he did last year, Shane Bieber's he's gonna win it.
Okay, okay.
Last season he was incredible. Like
I can't even argue that. Like there's literally hold on, let me pull up his last season stats. I don't know if you have him.
Yeah, I have him.
His stats last year were nuts.
Yeah, so he went 8-1 with a 1.6 ERA, and in 77 innings, he had 122 strikeouts. So almost 2 strikeouts per inning. His whip was 0.8. So like that's walks and hits per inning.
Whip at a 0.8?
Yeah. So basically he allowed less than a runner per inning.
That's insane. Like, literally that's insane. Like to do that over a 162 season where you're starting 40, 50 games, I don't know if that's possible. But if he could do that, if he could repeat his performance from this shortened season,
close to that,
I guess you're right. Even if you get close, that is nutty.
His wait, hang on, they have to have it right. Batting average against. How is that not a stat on here? I don't understand how that's not a stat on this page. Anyway, it's ridiculous. 122 strikeouts in 77 innings. Like, what? That's just
wait. How many innings? 122 strikeouts in how many innings?
77. So if you throw that, most pitchers throw about.
That's borderline 2 strikeouts an inning.
Season. What?
That's not far off of 2 strikeouts an inning.
Yeah.
That's
so most
nuts.
Most pitchers throw about 215, 240, somewhere in the like low to mid 200s.
That's fair.
So if you average that out, he would get almost 400 plus strikeouts.
What's the Hold on.
I'm sorry. Wait, he would be way over that. That's 1 an inning. No. I'm sorry. That's right. Yeah, almost 400 strikeouts in a season.
Okay, so the most strikeouts in That can't be right. Hold on. Most strikeouts in a season. I want to see how that would rate. So the most strikeouts in a season. No, not AAA.
513.
Yeah, but
That was
that's in Double A.
1886.
But that's Baltimore Orioles Double A. Let me find National League.
No.
451.
The one I saw is 1886. Matt Kilroy, 513.
Yeah, but that's in League AAA or Double A. Sorry.
Where do you see? No, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, no.
That was in 1886. They didn't even have AAA.
Oh, you never know.
All
It's
right, the
Double
first
A.
modern, the lowest or the highest modern era one was Nolan Ryan at 383. That's the only one not in the 1800s.
That's fair. The modern pitcher 383. Yeah, which would be American League, and that would be Nolan Ryan
when he was 26, and then Sandy Koufax when he was 29 had one last 382.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But even still, so 385. And if he would be on pace for 400, that would put him in literally all-time territory.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he was Cy Young last year. He finished 4th in the MVP voting. The year before that, he was an All-Star and won the All-Star Game MVP and was 4th in the Cy Young voting. So, like, he's had 2 really good seasons in a row.
I hope over this next season he has a good season. I hope he.
I'm just saying. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I hope he mirrors what he did on the shortened season in an actual, real, full season.
Just kind of legitimize it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know you're a Cleveland fan, so I know you're all about it.
I'm definitely gonna pick him. Yeah, obviously, was my favorite.
But at the same time, like, I just like when people do fucking cool shit. Like, I'm a Giants fan. I was born and raised Bay Area sports, so I like the Giants. The A's are a second American League team. I watch all of our predominantly like Bay Area sports. But I would love to see someone who could come out and just put up ridiculous stats. And I think if he could do that over a full season, it'd be unreal. I would 100% talk about that all the time, even though he has nothing to do with the Bay Area. I'm just like, bro, like, how could you not love the sport and not understand that this is dope as fuck?
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. The only time I don't do that is if it's on a team I hate.
Like the Yankees, the Dodgers. Can the Dodgers just lose?
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore it and pretend it's not happening.
The Dodgers winning the World Series this year, as a Giants fan, talking to you directly, this is literally the worst thing that could possibly happen for me. Literally the worst thing, because you know what the Giants argument has been for the last like 5-10 years is the Dodgers haven't won anything since like the 90s or 80s. Come on, man, get relevant. The Giants won 3 World Series in the 2010s. And now the Dodgers kicked the fuck out of us, and I'm like, oh.
Now it's like, what have you guys done lately?
Yeah, it's like, what have you done since 2015? Oh, man. The struggle is real in professional sports.
Just to round out the top 5, there's Tyler Glasgow of Tampa and Ken Jinryu from Toronto, who's really good, but I mean, so
I think top 3 are be better.
350, 400, 450, and then it goes to 950 and 1300 for the 4 and 5.
So I think the Ryu number is wrong.
Why?
I think he's gonna have a better year this year. I
thought you meant I typed it wrong. No.
The number is right. I just think that the prediction is wrong. Okay. I think he's going to have a better year this year, which is part of what
mean,
led me to put the Toronto at the top of that division. I think he's going to be the cornerstone for them. Not necessarily like, oh, the end all be all, but I think he's going to be better than people think he's going to be this year for them.
Mean, he's been real good the last 3 seasons.
I mean,
197 ERA, 232, 269 over the last 3 seasons.
I mean,
he's had a sub 2.7 ERA the last 3 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they have him 5th. I think he's going to make a big difference in Toronto.
I mean, he was in Toronto. I mean, I know it was a shortened year, but he was there last year. 5-2 with a 269 ERA.
I honestly don't consider last year even a year.
But like,
you know why?
If he puts up a 269 ERA and goes really good record, if Shane Bieber gets 400 strikeouts, it doesn't matter.
You're not wrong. If Shane Bieber gets like 300 or 400 strikeouts, like, it's a wrap.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't disagree. He's a great pitcher. Garrett Cole, Shane Bieber, and Lucas Giolito. Lucas Giolito is the one that is weird to me on this list, honestly. Like, he's a really good pitcher, but
Giolito?
I don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's part of why I thought the White Sox would be pretty good. Their pitching doesn't look that bad, and he looks really good. I don't know if I would say he's in the Cy Young debate. I would, of the 5 that they listed, I would probably put him at the end. I would switch him I would put Glasnow at 3, Ryu at 4, and him at 5. But I think he's really good.
His last 3 seasons. Last year, 348 ERA. The year before that, 341. The year before that, 613.
Okay, the year before that was terrible.
I don't understand why people are saying he's going to be so good. Like, if he keeps this up, he's like a 3 starter. Like, I don't understand the hype.
Maybe there's something in spring training that people have seen that we haven't seen as general viewers.
Maybe, but like, I don't know. It's very weird to me that he's on this list at all, let alone 3rd. And like, the odds have him right there with the top, with Garrett Cole and Shane Bieber. Like, I don't get it. All right. If you had to pick one person on this list, who are you picking?
One of the top 2, either Bieber or Cole. If I had to pick only one, I would pick one of those 2. I'm honestly not. I'm with you with probably Bieber at number 1. It wouldn't surprise me. But Garrett Cole wouldn't surprise me either, because he's fucking Garrett Cole.
Yeah, if he wins it, I would not be surprised at all. All right, so let's move on. NL Cy Young.
I'm gonna hit the head real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. All right. So we had Jacob deGrom at number 1 plus 500. Trevor Bauer, who won it last year, is plus 7. Scherzer 850. Walker Buehler 1,000. Yu Darvish 1,000. Now, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure Jacob deGrom is already hurt. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was who's their other? Noah Syndergaard got hurt. Maybe. I don't know. Somebody big on the Mets got hurt as a starting pitcher. Apparently, it's neither of them. But we'll see. I personally would lean toward Bauer again, although change of scenery is always tough. Max Scherzer's always up there if he's not hurt. um, and then so I'm still trying to look up who it was. Um, where? Oh, here. Who got hurt? Also, wait. You're muted. You're muted.
Oh my god, I'm talking like a dumbass. Jacob deGrom, I don't think he's hurt, and I wouldn't surprise me if he's looking nasty in spring training so far.
Somebody got hurt on the Mets. That's a starting pitcher. Also, I was looking up the projected starting pitchers because I was curious, and apparently Noah Syndergaard's not even projected to make the team.
What?
He's not on the list for projected rotation.
How does Noah Syndergaard not? Hold on. That doesn't even make any sense. Noah Syndergaard was their ace like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Oh, rehab side session.
Okay, so he is
the one that got hurt.
Okay, so you were right with that one. I was going to be like, how does that make any sense? He's like literally one of the best pitchers they have.
Not anymore.
But yeah,
they had Jacob deGrom, Marcus Stroman, Carlos Carrasco, Taijuan Walker, and then I don't know who David Peterson is, but
I would probably put Syndergaard 5th or 4th there.
Yeah, probably. I might put him above Carrasco just because Carrasco's older. But
that was literally the only person I would have put at 5th. Oh, under him.
That David Peterson guy made his rookie debut last year. He went 6-2 with a 3.4 ERA. So
okay. Side note: this squishy, whatever it's called. Hold on, let me see if I can get my face out of this. Gonna take it. This Ermagurge Surshi cherry shortcake, not very good. I wish I just bought 2 of the IPAs because the mango IPA was way better.
Damn, that sucks.
I know, and I saved those for the last because I figured this would taste better.
I did that with G Fuel, thinking that the strawberry shortcake G Fuel would taste good, and it did not at all.
Unfortunately, where's this from? Nowhere important.
Nowhere. It just appeared.
Like it literally doesn't even say like what the brewery was.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Not very good though.
But yeah. Anyway, I know Cy Young. I'm leaning toward Bauer, but I don't know.
If DeGrom can stay healthy and he keeps pitching like he has in the spring, I would go with DeGrom.
That's why I lean Bauer, because DeGrom can't stay healthy.
But that's the big thing is if he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, right. I think DeGrom wins it. If he doesn't stay healthy, I think you're 100% right with Bauer. Yeah. Especially being on the Dodgers where they fucking bang like it's fucking nothing.
Yeah, I mean, his record's going to be great.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he's a 20-game winner this year. I don't know what his ERA is going to be, though. It wouldn't surprise me if he was closer to 3, like a 2.9.
Yeah. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm leaning Bauer, but...
I don't think Max Scherzer is gonna get up there.
I'm actually surprised he's on this list. I mean,
are you really though? Max Scherzer is like the LeBron James of baseball. He gets old, but does he ever really get any worse? Like he never gets like that bad. He gets incrementally worse every year, but it's so small that you're like, is it really like that big of a deal?
But he's still like a top pitcher in baseball. I don't know. Like he's still a real good pitcher, but is he a top pitcher? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, part of my heart says DeGrom's probably going to win NL Cy Young, but like you said, he has a really hard time staying healthy. So Trevor Bauer's the safe pick.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it.
But I was going to say, I think we went through pretty much everything. We're at like, honestly, this was a long episode.
Yeah.
I can't believe we talked for that long. This is like 2.5 hours, 2:45. Yeah. But we are going to call it there. Thank you, everybody, for listening.